Some people say that life starts when you fall in love. But for me, it was when my mum died on the anniversary of my transsexual boyfriend dumping me. Things with Dan Hunsford didn't really work out as expected. Although they did start out pretty heavy. I nicknamed him every time Dan. Then one day, after some brunch lovin', I said to him, "You really know what a woman wants." And then he gave me this look like he knew he was cheating. It's bad, but that kind of thing just bothered me, you know? Even after a bottle of wine. Then one day mid-year, I had a total change of heart. I decided to embrace who he was. I introduced him to my girlfriends. "Cindy, meet Dan. Dan is my boyfriend. Dan used to be a woman, and if you find that weird or disgusting, then you're a narrow-minded, prejudiced bitch. Just get off your high horse, Cindy." Whenever I'd buy tickets for us or fill out forms on his behalf, I'd circle both genders and put X next to female. Then a year to the day before Mum died, Dan came up to me and said, "Sophie, you can't really love me for who I am. You're either creeped out by me or showing me off to your friends to show how forward-thinking you are." At least that's what intensive therapy uncovered. I blacked out when he said we need to talk and didn't really come to until spring. So after the funeral, I decided to really reconsider my life. My brother was there with his wife and 3 kids, and they're all taking turns bawling their eyes out. Only one of them would ever cry at a time, so it's like the most morbid game of pass the parcel in history. Then after 3 full rounds of this, they started to give me really disgusted looks, so I left as soon as the service ended. So there I was, once again. Single, crap job, no family. It was time to restart my life. So here I am in the offices of Brown, Leighton and Smith, interviewing for the position of Senior Executive Assistant. Now, I'm not sure whether this means I'd be the boss to some executive assistants or whether I'd be the assistant to some senior executives, but either way it was a step up. It was my 2nd interview since the funeral, so you know, I was doing Mum proud. "Sophie, they'll see you now." The receptionist sizes me up and I decide I'm going to make her life miserable when they make me boss. The new Sophie is tough. I enter the room and 5 suited men are sat around the table, and as soon as the door shuts behind me, I feel about 2 feet tall. They ask me if I want some water, so I drink straight from the jug. Shit. Oh, that's a bad way to start. I consider showing a breast, trying to recover, but then the only guy under 40 laughs and says he likes a chick with a sense of humour. I get a small confidence boost, but then he doesn't laugh the second time I do it. The 100-year-old lawyer asks the first question, and I reply something sensible. And then, oh my god, it happens again, and I know I'm gonna nail this. I decide it's gone really, really well, and I've left the building before I realise they haven't actually asked me about anything. They know more about my cats than my work ethic. Did they only want me because I look good in a skirt? I mean, I do, but that's not the point. I find out 2 days later. Hello? Yeah, speaking. It's the guy who laughed in the interview. "Yeah, sure, okay, yeah. I'll meet then. Alright, bye-bye." So that was Rod Smith. We're meeting in the cafe downstairs at 6 for a follow-up chat. I have 4 hours to get ready, so I print off my CV and try on 15 different outfits before deciding on the one I was already wearing. I hunt down my last 3 employers, they all loved me, determined to win him over. I was gonna get that job, damn it. 6 o'clock rolls around and I'm sat in the cafe sipping on a latte with just the slightest bit of added gin. Rod rushes in 10 minutes late and sits opposite me, taking off his tie and apologising. "How was your afternoon?" he asks. "Yeah, good thanks. So in the first interview I didn't get to mention my typing speed. It's 72 words per minute." "That's impressive. Listen, do you like salmon? They do a mean salmon here. On me, of course." "Yeah, sure. I'm also really good at multitasking, so I can type whilst listening to something totally different. Got a lot of practice when my ex was yammering about his feelings whilst I was trying to text." He looks distractedly and then his face lights up as he pulls something out of his suitcase. "These are for you." They're chocolates. Favourites. I suddenly realise he's hitting on me. "I'm sorry, you told me this was a 2nd interview." He looks embarrassed. So he is hitting on me. I slap him as hard as I can and I get up to leave and then he stops me. "I'll hire you if you stay." I mean, I knew the guy would make me an offer, but I didn't think the bastard would trick me into a 2nd date. Worst thing is the job's great and the guy's cute. I slide my resume under his nose. You see this? I'm worth at least 8 grand more than what you advertised. I can see he's about to protest, so I stop him. No, you do not get to trick me into a second date and then complain about some run-of-the-mill extortion. You'll give me the pay rise, and you'll pay for the salmon, and you'll let me leave at 5:45 on Fridays so I can make it to yoga. Will you finish at 5:30 every day? And I'll only do all of that if you give me a kiss at the end. You're on. It was the most competitive date I've ever been on. He eats faster than I do. I make him order me the most expensive dessert. He tries to talk me into sex, so I ask for another 4 grand and he backs down, although I do let him go to second base. For free. Rod is one smooth customer, and the date/interview goes really well. 7 days and 2 dates later, I get an offer from the first guys who interviewed me, but I still haven't heard back from Brown, Leighton and Smith. So I tell them I'll call them back in an hour and I try Rod's mobile. Oh wait, Janice hasn't called you? Oh, fucking Janice, honestly, I told her to ring it. This is why you're taking her job, Sophie. Too many Janices in the world with jobs they suck at. I thought you were hiring me for a second date. I'll get her to call you. He hangs up without another word, and sure enough, 20 minutes later I get a call from Janice, who is a total sweetheart, by the way. She offers me the job and I accept, and then I ask her what the salary is, and she says, as advertised. I am livid. He lied to me. I let him touch my boobs, and he lied to me about an 8 grand pay increase. Whoa, he is going to suffer for this. I invite him round to dinner and I'm making an authentic family recipe. I mean, so authentic, I get my nan to cook it. Wine, music, and the implied promise of sex. It's going to be the most romantic breakup dinner in history. The date rolls around and Rod's running late. I try to retain my cool, but tardiness makes me fidgety, so I knock back a wine glass of gin. And then he arrives. With flowers, chocolates and apologies. So sorry, hun, we've just lost a major client. I'm having to drop this pro bono case I'd taken up, and it's the only decent part of being a lawyer. Just this kind of thing really bums me out. I struggle with my feelings of sympathy and how much more of a kick I'll get out of dumping the wanker. Oh, sweetie, that's awful. Here, take a glass of wine and I'll give you a massage. I rub his shoulders and he melts into my hands. I made a really good call with you. He gives my hand an affectionate squeeze. You're so funny and kind. I'm really enjoying getting to know you. He's making this so much harder for the both of us. I serve dinner and Merlot and we have the loveliest evening. The conversation is good, the dessert delicious. He asks me where the bathroom is and I point to the front door. He laughs and asks if I want him to water the pot plants. No. I want you to leave and never come back. He looks shocked. He asked me why. Janice called and she said you were paying me the rate as advertised. Oh, fucking Janice. I told her to tell you as discussed, not as advertised. God, I'm so glad you're taking her job. I suddenly hope I haven't made a huge mistake. So she got it wrong? He shakes his head. No, she got it right. Thank God. Then what are you still doing in my house? Well, I was actually going to pay it myself. Now it's my turn to be shocked. You were going to pay me 8 grand for a date. Per year. This is unbelievable. I ask him why. Well, I had a good feeling about you and I always trust my instincts. This is so unfair. My instincts are bloody useless. So you were going to do all of that for me and I had just arranged the most spiteful date in history. I'm a horrible person. No, you're right. You were just looking after yourself. I tell you who is a horrible person is that fucking Janice. That silly old cow's incompetence has now trickled down from the workplace into my private life. If I had £1 for every time she's screwed up, I'd double my salary. I stop his rant with a kiss and it's a full minute before I break it off. Rod, there's something I need to ask you. He looks at me. Now don't get me wrong when I ask you this, and it totally doesn't matter what the answer is, I just want to know. What is it? I put my hand in his pants. Were you born with this?